I think during this process of healing and being sick and dealing with COVID, I've really been wrestling with the idea of tying productivity to my personal value. And I think this is something that men in general really, really struggle with, especially if you're married or you have kids, like you have responsibilities, you know. I think it can be very difficult when you're not being productive, especially for things that are like out of your control, like being sick. Having COVID stopped me from doing what I want to do, which is make money and make money to provide for my family and stuff. And it's, to me, I get it, like that there are rules in place and systems in place to keep people from being sick and stuff like that, which it should have always been the case. But I know like the rules weren't as intense prior to 2020. I think people would show up to work chugging, Airborne or Theraflu, sick with a flu, common cold or whatever, just showing up to work. And at this point, I mean, some people still are mask on, coughing, sneezing, whatever, because they have to. But since 2020, I know a lot of systems and rules have changed so that if you have a cough or a runny nose, nope, you can't come in. If you have to work like in person. For people who work remote, that's not the case, which is beautiful, which is one reason why I am looking into that and trying to get to the place where I can work remote and, also build my own business so that I can be in control of that. And I know as a man, it can be very difficult. It can be very difficult to be like, okay, I'm still a good man, even though I'm not producing anything, even though I'm not making a paycheck right now because of whatever reason. And it just sucks because it sucks that I've tied so much of myself to my productivity. Again, like if I can't work or do something, there are oftentimes I personally just feel worthless. And the thing is, I know it's not true for the most part. Like I know my value isn't only tied to my productivity. My value is not only tied to what I can do or what I can produce. Like my value is really based off of who the Most High says I am and the value that he gives to me. And I'm valuable regardless of what I do or what I don't do. But it's really hard, especially in the capitalistic society that we live in, to not tie money or physicality or whatever to our value and our worth. And again, I think that's a really big deal, particularly for men. And so like, I really get it how if a man loses his job or was let go or whatever, why depression will come on. Like why you can be depressed that you can't work because you can't provide and you can't feel useful. Even, there are some instances after men retire, even if it's something that you've been looking forward to and striving for and saving up for, when you don't have to go to work and when you don't have to do things to help other people or provide for your family, you can be like, what am I doing? Why? What's my purpose? What's my value? What's my worth? And that sucks. That really sucks. And it's really, really hard to navigate sometimes. And that's something I've been wrestling with and trying to seek the Most High about it, trying to make sure like I'm feeding myself positive words and not letting those negative thoughts put me in a tailspin, because it's real easy to do. And there were moments when like the symptoms that I was wrestling with COVID were really strong, that like those thoughts were just beating me over the head, and I really just had to spend a lot of time praying and journaling, trying to make sure that I stay like calm and level-headed and stuff like that, because there were moments where I'm like, yo, I hate this. I hate this so much. And it was a mixture of anxiety and depression and anger and all of this stuff, because I felt worthless. I felt useless. Like I can't do anything. And it's so stupid. It's so stupid because like at one point in time I was like, yo, I feel fine. Like there's nothing wrong with me. I feel like my strength is coming back. But because the test kept coming back positive, it's like I still can't go into work, based off of the protocols and things that are in place for my current gig. And it's just like, like I need to do stuff. Like I need to be useful. I need to pretty much prove my worth and my value. And a lot of that's tied to productivity. It's tied to making money. It's tied to making things or producing things or whatever. And the other frustrating part about being sick or being in a place where you feel like you can't do stuff, especially when you're sick, like what you have to do is rest. But because so much of our value and our identity and our worth can be tied to actually doing stuff. The idea of resting is so counterintuitive. It's like, rest for what? And again, yeah, tied to capitalism. Like, I'll rest when I'm dead. I need to hustle. I need to grind. I need to do these things. Like, and it's not good. It's not healthy, particularly for men. It's not healthy because we will treat ourselves like machines to hustle, grind, and really prove our worth as men. But our worth and our value is so much more complex than how much we produce or how much money we make. But in this society, we have minimized our human experience. We've minimized our maleness, our manliness to things like that. Like, if I don't make money, I'm not worth anything. And it's a lie. And it's a deception, really, from the enemy, but I think we've taken it hook, line, and sinker, and we keep getting that same idea fed to us over and over and over again. But it's not good. Like, it's really anti-human, which, in my opinion, I think things that are anti-human are anti-God, anti-Christ, and really demonic. Yeah, we're supposed to work. Yeah, we're supposed to provide for our family and stuff like that. But that's not our sole existence or purpose. Because even while my family's been dealing with COVID and stuff like that, as much as I wanted to get to work, I needed to be home to take care of my wife because her symptoms were a lot worse than mine. So as much as I could be frustrated and caught up in my head, it's like, I'm not working, I'm not making money. That time, even though we were sick and not, in best condition, like, that was a lot of vital and valuable time for my wife and I to spend together. And, me being present and serving her in that way, that's valuable. Sure, making money is valuable, but being emotionally there to support my wife, to take care of her, to make sure she has everything that she needs, to love on her, to keep talking with her, and to reassure her that everything is going to be okay. Like, all that stuff is important. That stuff is valuable too. And then even just the bare minimum of being able to rest together, that stuff is important too. It's valuable too. And it is part of my worth, and it goes beyond a paycheck. But I know it's really hard to separate doing stuff and making stuff and being productive from our internal value. But it's something we got to do. We got to know that, like, I'm worth something, even if I don't make anything today. I'm worth something. I'm important. I'm valuable, even if I don't make money today. Even if maybe for a season I don't have a job, I'm still valuable. I'm still worthy. I'm still important. And there's other ways that I can express and show and display that value and worth that's not always tied to capital or tied to money. But yeah, I was really struggling with that. And I still do from time to time. But I again, I try to spend time praying and listening to constructive content, and having affirmations and stuff for myself so that I don't tailspin, so I don't spiral. Because those negative thoughts, that stuff will hit you hard. And especially when you're not feeling well or you're already depressed, that stuff will hit you even harder. And it's really hard to fight it when you don't have, like, the energy or the mental capacity at that time. But, I think the Most High, He's good that He's present, and then He helps in our time of need.